And as he typically does, Davis boots it way out of the end zone. So Castellanos, some great stats. They've played a couple of real games and a couple of overmatched opponents. They had back-to-back 700-yard games. So hesitate to overemphasize the stats for FSU, but this guy's played well.
Yeah, he really has. He just seems to have a really firm control of this system that Gus Malzahn likes to run. For the defense, it's a lot of eye candy, a lot of misdirection, a lot of pre-snap movement, pulling linemen. Really got to be locked in if you're a Miami linebacker or safety and not get out of position.
Deep stable of backs for Castellanos to work with here. The true freshman Usman Kroma gets the start. And he gets the first carry. Kroma, it's a crease through that vaunted Miami front. Picks up a solid 7 yards before Toure got him down.
You'll see a stable of backs. Kroma in there now. You'll see Gavin Salchuk, Deuce Robinson on the outside, a 6'6 target. We talked about Ruben Bain Jr. And then Bissaint is also the leader of that Miami defense in the middle.
See, they'll play with tempo. You talked about Akeem Mesidor in the open. The defensive end wraps him up for no gain and a quick third down.
Yeah, so important of just controlling the edges because of the way they can attack. Gus Malzahn will attack the edges with a variety of different looks. That time, Mesidor with an outstanding play on that second and short.
What a start for Corey Heatherman's defense. Came from Minnesota. Knowles need 2 to get this drive going. Castellanos to throw over the middle. Wide open. Kroma out of the backfield. Down inside the Miami 40. They let him go.
Well, this we talk about with eye discipline. Look at the linebacker. He's following the receiver, completely lost. His responsibility was to take the back, sliding out on that wheel route. Instead, eye discipline in the wrong spot. And Tommy Castellanos makes him pay for it there on a third down play.
28-yard chunk. Sawchuk in now for Kroma. Castellanos took a peek, now takes off. Electric speed, especially like 0 to 10 or 15 yards, as quick as there is in football.
Well, if you're going to play man-to-man coverage and watch this clear out with the blitz, they're locked up in man. You better account for number 1. He saw that quickly, made a great decision to get out of there and just take off. Nobody accounts for the athletic quarterback there. And he, again, great job of just getting into a flow of this offense here early for Castellanos and the Knowles.
Jacoby Thomas, the safety, was in deep center field. It took him a long time to come up and make the play.
Back there, man-free, just playing center field. But the rest of that defense, the second and third level, with their backs to the quarterback, they got to spy him if they play man and blitz.
End around. And that's the electric Mekhi Danzy, 400-meter champion in the ACC. You must account for him if you're the Miami defense. Poyser got him down after about a 4-yard gain. Right
now, they prepared for this offense for 2 weeks, but now it's coming at them in warp speed. This is a very different ask of this defense, and Corey Heatherman, the defensive coordinator, just got to kind of settle in. But right now, there's a lot of pulling linemen, jet sweeps.
3 receivers to the left on this 2nd and 6.
Yeah, Gus Malzahn.
I'm running out.
Gus Malzahn saw the look from the sideline, wanted to make the check, but you're right, the play clock runs down on him.
You know, Gus was at UCF, considering retirement. That had sort of run its course in Norvell. Sawchuk, ropes 3. This Miami defense has been smothering opponents' run games, but the Knowles are creating some little chunks, going to set up a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, Adrian Medley, the guard that time, with a great block to open that up. You can see the red zone, 83% leads the ACC down here in touchdowns.
Sawchuk on the pitch to the boundary, knocked out of bounds, but it's going to be 1st and goal for Florida State on this opening possession.
The best thing that right now Florida State's able to do is they're the aggressor. They're attacking. They're not getting behind the sticks. One of the great ways to slow down this Gus Malzahn offense is get him off schedule. Get him to that 2nd 8, that 3rd and 6. But right now, it's Castellanos in the Florida State offense dictating things on this opening drive.
Sawchuk. Hours for a short game. They've been excellent in the red zone with all that you have to defend. 3 for 3 touchdowns against Alabama. Big part of that opening victory.
Yeah, and one of the things Mike Norvell's thinking about taking this opening drive is there's only one of 2 schools. There's 2 schools in all of the FBS that have not trailed all year. Texas Tech and Miami. Noel's trying to change that.
Castellanos to the end zone. Incomplete. Tried to find the big, tall Deuce Robinson, USC transfer. Xavier Lewis in coverage. He's been a great red zone weapon.
Yeah, it's good against good. 2 physical players, one a physical corner. That was pretty. Bill, what do you think of that? Got some hands on him. Never turned around and found the football. Usually you get a flag there.
Flag on that would have been acceptable.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah, the fact he never turned around, that's what Mike Norvell is asking. Never located the football.
So 3rd and goal. Three receivers to the left. Castellanos scrambling. Can he get there? No, he'll be shut down at the 5-yard line. Tried to use his quickness. That time the Canes were all over him, and Wesley Basaint makes the stop, and here comes the field goal team.
Well, that's a much better job by Basaint and this Canes defense by leveraging the football. Stay to the outside. Force him back into the middle where the linebackers and safeties can rally. Much better job from the last scramble that he had for big yards.
So Jake Weinberg, a chip shot field goal, 3 for 4 on the young season. Placing a legend here in Ryan Fitzgerald, who's with the Carolina Panthers. Big shoes to fill. And the chip shot is pounded through. So Florida State, a 70-yard drive in about 5 minutes, 11 plays, and Miami is becoming a high-stakes rivalry as anyone. And as we said, this guy was a high school player in Miami, watching it, played in it, and his team, as you saw, behind for the first time this season. No FSU kickoff has been returned yet this year. And here comes Carson Beck. Always been a high completion percentage passer. Did throw 1 interception against the Gators 2 weeks ago in his last game that could have been costly, but pretty solid start. As I said before, a dry night. He doesn't have to be bothered by throwing wet footballs, which was a factor for him, he said.
Yeah, and I also think Shannon Dawson made a good point their last game out. Really no need to take chances throwing the football. Their defense played so well against the Gators that night. He called the game more of a complimentary football style. Tonight he hopes if the Florida State defense crowds the line against their run game, they want to take shots.
Mark Fletcher, the back, who comes in motion, and instead they'll throw it in the slot. They get a quick touch for the electric Malachi Toney, who has been an instant star really since his first game against Notre Dame as we check out the impact players.
It starts with the offensive line in the running game with Mark Fletcher. C.J. Daniels leads a very talented group of receivers. Justin Cryer in the middle of that Knowles defense, 28, has got to make a big impact defending this run game, and keep an eye on 0. Earl Little is all over the field. Really one of the leaders and enforcers on that back end for the
Beck's going to be keeping an eye on him. You got to account for him every play. This is Fletcher, who powers forward, although more resistance early on than the Canes running game has faced. A short gain sets up a 3rd and 5. Talked about Shannon Dawson, the 3rd-year offensive coordinator on the left there.
And Tony White does a great job first year taking over as a defensive coordinator, likes to mix in a lot of different looks. Spent some time out at San Diego State with Rocky Long. Defense is about confusing the offensive line and protection.
Let's see what they bring on this 3rd and 5. Canes 50% on 3rd this year. They back off and play coverage. It leaves space underneath, and Malachi Toney just has a knack for knowing where the marker is. Runs precise routes, and they move the sticks.
Not only that, Chris, but against man coverage, you continue. Here, you settle. Look at him settle in the soft spot there, and then knows exactly where the sticks are. Great job of the true freshman.
Testing the middle again is Fletcher. This offensive line, bunch of maulers. Markel Bell 6'9", 345 is your left tackle. Francis Mauanoa, very high in the draft boards on the right side.
61, like you said, a lot of people think he could be a top 5 pick.
Brockermeyer came in from TCU, a very steady veteran center. They've gelled quickly, the hardest working unit on this team. All their teammates concur.
And Knowles crowding the line of scrimmage. They got 8 guys up tight.
They just snap it back, drops back, lost it downfield. This is Tony trying to run underneath it, and it's incomplete. Edwin Joseph caught up. Beck put a lot of air into that football.
Yeah, that's going to be the game within the game, is the Knowles are going to crowd the line, especially playing at home, and that means you got to hold up on islands. Joseph right here, that's a tough ask as a safety to match up with maybe the most fleet-footed receiver of the Canes with Tony, but in pretty good position there. It would have been a heck of an effort if he would have been able to come down with that football.
Need 8 on third down. See if the Knowles bring pressure this time. They didn't on the last third down. Pre-snap chess game continues. Clock at 2. Just get it off. Beck lofting it downfield again, and that was C.J. Daniels who just broke off the route. Blake Nicholson brought some pressure, and the Canes will punt.
And they walk up. Sometimes they'll come, sometimes they won't. But watch this move right here. Almost just creating a pick to try to free up the backers. Created some confusion. Got into the face of Carson Beck. And this is what Miami will face if they get into these third and obvious passing situations. A lot of different looks, but we do have a flag down that came down late.
I think the communication was for intentional grounding. No receiver in the area.
He just threw that one up.
But I think they picked it up.
Well, I mean, Daniels broke the route off. Yes.
Not a foul.
Well, they've marked off yardage, though, where the football is placed at the 30. They must have enforced the penalty after all.
They did, yeah.
So Dylan Joyce to boot it away. Squirrel White retreats and makes a fair catch at the 20. Both these quarterbacks in command, both of them already active in making the pre-snap adjustments. This is Castellanos keeping, and the Canes all over him. Mesidor and Bain, the 2 defensive ends, had him caged in that time.
Boy, Bain, 6'3", 270. Got to set the edge on this defense against Castellanos and those zone reads. There's 4. He went away from 4 and then 3. Mesidor on the other side chased him down. Those could argue the best tandem of ends in college football this year.
Defensive ends in the spotlight against this kind of offense, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Castellanos, zone read game, straight handoff to Sawchuk, and Sawchuk knifing through the middle, banging across the 30 for a first down.
Great job here by the double team. They work down, and then watch 13 with this nice block here on the edge that really springs him. It's Randy Pittman.
Playing with tempo, Sawchuk quickly on first down picks up a couple. It's just surprising. We've seen this Miami defense really shut down people's running game. FSU's having early success.
Yes, it was second long. They still had the confidence to stick to their running game. We got a guy down from Miami.
It's Ahmad Moten, senior defensive tackle, tough run stopper on that front. Well, the athletic trainers attend to him. We'll step aside. Here. Castellanos keeps up. I was going to say maybe the only FSU quarterback in history as quick as Castellanos was the old Sunshine Scooter.
That's right. Yeah.
He could move.
Oh, he was quick.
They didn't play with this tempo, though, back in LC's day. Pick up 5. It's a 3rd and 5. Dancy flips it back. Castellanos trying to make something happen downfield, and the pitch is incomplete. A lot of trickery, as Malzahn will do, ends up back with the quarterback, and Randy Pittman, very reliable target, couldn't quite come back and make a diving catch.
There was, again, a lot going on here. They went tempo, not to mention to try to, again, get you out of position. Almost able to do it. Moutouré, the linebacker, ends up catching up to Pittman, the tight end. I thought he might take off and run with that football.
It's a 3rd and 5 play, by the way. Trickery with tempo, checking it downfield.
Again.
That's Gus. Mike Cimento is punting for exactly the 5th time this season, been averaging 1 punt per game. That's how much they've been finding the end zone. Malachi Toney makes the fair catch. So Miami defense able to get off the field and sends Carson Beck back out there.
So the running game is critical to their success. If they can't run the ball, it'll make it obviously a lot tougher. Shannon Dawson said, as a play caller, I got to be patient. I got to be stubborn like I was against Florida. Even if it doesn't look good, I just got to keep going back to it. But if Florida State's going to be determined to stop that part of Miami, which is their identity, then it comes down to protection and moving Carson Beck around and those receivers winning one-on-one in those matchups against the Noles secondary.
Fake it to Fletcher, pitch to the end. Toney got a block on the edge, but Jerry Nelson kind of fought through it, so the gain is short. Picked up about 3.
Boy, what a play by Jerry Wilson there to get off the block there and by Marion and still be able to hold that edge. He's a physical guy, loves to play him to the field, does a good job keeping the eyes, usually known for his ability to defend the pass, but that time showing an ability to get physical.
Noel DBs have to be up to the challenge because these Miami receivers love to block and do it well.
Yeah.
It'll be fun battles to watch on the edge tonight. 2nd and 7, Fletcher banging downhill and muscles for a first down out of the 35. Picked up 10 before Stephon Thompson got him.
Yeah, Markel Bell on that left side opened that up. Really good job. And it's an example of sticking to your guns, continue to run the ball there on 2nd and 7. Now they go a little tempo themselves.
Beck off the play fake. Launches downfield for a second time, and it's caught by C.J. Daniels. There is a flag down at midfield. Beck laid that out, and the veteran leader of this receiving corps ran under it.
They got a hold, I think, on Edwin Joseph, 3 from Florida State. This play should stand.
Holding, defense. The penalties decline. Result of the play, first down.
And there's a crosser where they ended up holding Toney, but this is we just talked about. Got him turned. What a route there by Daniels. We're just talking about Wilson, what a good job he did in run defense. This is what he's known for, ability to cover downfield. Who's going to win these matchups one-on-one on the perimeter? Not only do you hit a big play, you can soften the Florida State defense up and get back to your bread and butter. Now that they know you're going to go downfield, get those safeties back, you get back to running the football.
Daniels wasn't healthy, didn't have his best game against the Gators. The bye week, he is fully healthy and makes a big play early. 2-back look now for Canes. Marty Brown and Fletcher in there. And muscling off the right side, which is what they love to do. Fletcher moves the pile for 5.
It's an impressive running game. You expect that from Mario Cristobal. It's not just, hey, they're big and they're physical and they're talented. It's really the execution, the timing. It's not just as easy. They've been working 4 years on trying to get this line right, trying to get the timing right. And you got good, tough backs to be able to run behind that line. Remember now, UVA, Virginia, last Friday against the Noles, they got in that red area 5 times. They scored 5 touchdowns. See what the Noles do to try to clean that up.
Been showing more of this pony 2-back look in recent games. Malachi Toney moves in. It's a tight formation, and they hand it to Marty Brown. We've been so impressed by him in the early season. Just a very physical guy. Runs bigger than his 220 pounds.
They told us they might go with that pony look, meaning 2 running backs in the backfield. That time Fletcher, who just had a couple good carries, he led the way like an isolation, like a big fullback. So an unselfish group of backs that Miami has.
Now they've got the giant Olifatuli wears 46 when he plays fullback. A power formation here. They need about 1.5 yards on third. Fletcher's the back. Very little mystery. Just physicality Great job. They grab Fletcher around the waist. They're going to spot him short, and it's going to be 4th down. Making the play with Shaheem Brown, who steps in for Ashland Barker, who's out tonight at safety.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. You bring in a couple extra linemen as tight ends. It's pretty obvious what you're going to do. The Noles had everybody at the line of scrimmage, right in front of the student section.
Same big bodies in there now on 4th down. They didn't get much of anything. It's still a full yard away.
Get him under center, sneak it.
And that's some offensive linemen behind him. They hand it to Fletcher. He has to really work hard, but it's enough for a 1st and goal.
Got behind Maui Noah, the right tackle. Just enough of a dent on that right side. Watch the push there, 61, 73, got right behind. Smart guy. When you need those tough yards, get behind the right tackle.
He wears 46, but that's a 290-pound offensive lineman. Switches jerseys when he goes in there to play fullback. And now can the Canes punch it in?
Good time for play action here on 1st and 10.
Good call, Coach. Beck moves, throws the end zone, threw it into traffic, caught by Alex Bowman, the tight end, in between a couple of Florida State defenders, knocked down to the 4.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of condensed formations. You know, bringing those receivers in, bringing the defensive backs in with them. These guys are great blockers, like we talked about. Also creates opportunities for receivers to have double moves to the inside, to the outside, and a lot of space on the perimeter.
This is as condensed as it gets, right? I mean, final minute of the quarter, 9th play of this drive coming up. Fake it to Brown. Slant, touchdown, C.J. Daniels. Caught the deep shot to set it up and finishes the job. And a little mock of the war chant.
Well, what a route. He left Jerry Wilson flat-footed, gave him a little outside move, a little stutter, and then broke it off on the slant. And Wilson actually turned to the outside. And so once he had the time to make that throw, he had great separation. That was a heck of a route by C.J. Daniels.
You said great to have him back healthy. Compliments Tony. 3 true freshmen play in this rotation, 3 receivers from the portal, a completely rebuilt cast. You mentioned the Virginia game. Alabama came in here, 16-play touchdown drive. Cavaliers had a 16-play touchdown drive late in that game. So there'll be times when they will revert to that, but I'm with you. This is a night for Beck to kind of spread it around.
I think it is.
Beck 4 for 4 on that drive. But Tommy Castellanos, interesting career. Yeah, we asked Gus Malzahn, is he an athlete who kind of throws, or is he a thrower who happens to be a good athlete? That was a great question you asked.
Yeah, and I thought it was a great answer. He said when I had him early, he was an athlete figuring out how to throw, but now, working with him later in his career, now he's a great passer who happens to be an athlete. So he's worked really hard on that part of his game. Mentioned Quincy.
Quincy Avery, the quarterback coach? Yeah, he did a great job working with him.
He gave him a lot of credit about how much he's really changed his mechanics.
He was working out with Cam Ward, Stuart Sanders
How
out of
about
Florida.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Among others.
Start offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's a big part of these quarterbacks in their development in the offseason. And Quincy Avery, one of the guys that works around the country with a lot of different quarterbacks, NFL and college. And what an opportunity for these guys to really grow. You know, it's almost become an art. You know, like a golfer working on his golf swing. These quarterbacks and the way they work on their rotational passing.
But to throw it on 1st and 15, it's Randy Pittman. And he said that it was the first time he'd ever done that, Kirk. We're so used to these guys as like 8th and 9th graders already working with the quarterback coach.
He said he never did it. Never had that chance until he had a chance to hook up with Quincy Avery and really made a huge difference. And I think it's given him a lot more confidence in his ability. And I said, man, that's hard to do, change your mechanics because of the muscle memory, but he certainly has put the work in.
Still behind the sticks on 2nd down. And Castellanos trying to escape, couldn't quite. David Blade Jr., the defensive tackle, wouldn't quite let him go. Struck first. Miami now on top 7-3 as we begin the second. And this is a third down play. Knowles need 11 here. Cordell Williams, who's back healthy, is in the backfield. Castellanos under pressure across the middle, and it's caught by Randy Pittman. And the tight end right at the marker. It's going to be very close. And they're signaling first down, Florida State.
Boy, Pittman is such a weapon at tight end. They brought a linebacker blitz. He does a nice job of being able to see this, kind of baits the defense and the blitz towards him, but takes advantage of that vacancy after that Torrey blitz from the linebacker spot. First down for the Noles.
Yeah, versatile is the word. Does a bit of everything. It's him coming in motion as a blocker as they hand it to Williams. Pittman went into the Wildcat formation through a jump pass touchdown against Virginia.
Yeah, he does everything. I mean, and not only that, Chris, he knows the offense. Transfer him over from UCF with Gus Malzahn. Knows exactly what this offense is about. Probably plays faster than anybody because of that familiarity. But they use him in a lot of different spots. A lot of times you'll see him moving pre-snap, too.
He caught a touchdown pass that forced overtime in that game. Jalen Lucas is in the backfield. They fake it to him. Castellanos now wants to throw it to him. And incomplete. Could not quite hold on. Making a beeline for him was Jacoby Thomas. Holly?
Well, you're talking about Tommy Castellanos having quarterback lessons or not. He was one of 11 children. He grew up in Georgia. His father passed away when he was just 3 years old. So everybody has different access to resources. But this is a young man who's made the most of what he could. 3 different schools, but big-time programs in Boston College and now Florida State. Not everybody gets that same access, but good for Tommy Castellanos.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
You said 1 of 11, right, Holly?
Yes.
An entire team they had.
Amazing.
No,
got it. The hard clap. Got it. Bain to jump.
That'll make this third down easier.
Offside, defense, number 4. 5-yard penalty, third down.
You know, you've started 25 games or so in college football. You're able to do things like this, 3rd and long at 3rd and 10. Now becomes 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5.
You see Bain kind of say, "He got me that time."
Yep.
So 3rd and 5.
Bain is a man.
2-by-2 look here. Sawchuk in the backfield. Castellanos from the pocket delivers a long ball on the sidelines, and the catch is made by Deuce Robinson, by far the most targeted receiver in this offense. Picked up 17.
Just talked about Ruben Bain, and Gunnar Hansen does a good job of providing the protection and the timing route there. What a great target at 6'6", 225 pounds.
Hand it off inside. Sawchuk knocked down right at the line of scrimmage. Their receiving core totally rebuilt, much like Miami is. But Deuce Robinson, an interesting piece. A red zone weapon, good player at USC, but really has come into his own at Florida State with this offense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The offense, the passing game really works through him because of his skill set. You see he's averaging 20 yards per reception.
Interesting look here. They run jet motion in both ways. This is Danzy trying to use that speed. Well, the Canes, they've watched some tape. They've done some homework on this offense, as tricky as it is to prepare for.
You're right about that. Good job of keeping their eye. That looked like maybe Justin Scott there, but a good job of anticipating this. And right here, he just does a good job of just slowing it down. Doesn't make the play, but he's able to slow it down and let the rest of the defense get to him.
You let Danzy get going, and the band's going to start playing that fast. On the move, Castellanos has Greengrass in front, but the Canes close him down pretty quickly. That's Mesidor, defensive end, moving fast.
Yeah, that half roll really got that defense to rotate and kind of roll with him, and then he's very comfortable stepping up and taking off, but much better job playing zone defense, allows their eyes to be on the threat of him taking off and scrambling. One time they played man on 3rd down. He got out and made them pay for it. Since then, we've been seeing a lot more zone.
What do you think, Kirk? It's 4th down. They need 8. The Miami 41 offense out there.
Better spy him on the scramble.
They've been very successful. They got to hurry here. Play clock at 1, and they'll have to spend a timeout. So Norvell says, man, it's not the kind of game we want to punt it deep and kind of pin him back. Keep the offense out there and hope that Castellanos can make a play. 4th and 8 for the Noles in Miami territory when you come back after this quick break.
Back to this play by Justin Scott, the job that he did by the effort to slow this down. I mean, you're talking about Danzy taking this. Look at the linemen. You got 5 guys. You include the receivers. If he doesn't make that play, you got a convoy leading the fastest receiver in the ACC down that left sideline. So he makes that play to set up this 4th down.
4 receivers, 2 on each side for Castellanos. Trying to get the Canes to jump. Now the snap comes, but he didn't appear to be ready. Throws it off his back foot, and it's intercepted. That play was sloppy from the start. And running it back, the Canes get near midfield. That's Bryce Fitzgerald, who's just a ball hawk. His 3rd pick on the season already.
Does a great job of reading it, Chris, but I'm with you. They're looking over to the sideline. I don't know if they're trying to fool Miami. I think they almost fooled the quarterback by snapping the football. This is coming out of a timeout. Watch him look over. He looks over after they did the hard clap. They're trying to make the adjustment. That next snap brought the ball. He was very fortunate. He's able to hold on to the football. The safety that makes the plays over here, I think he telegraphs this, really stares it down, then throws it high and late over the middle. But the true freshman, Fitzgerald, with his 3rd pick this year. What a way to get a career started at Miami. 3 interceptions as a safety.
Yeah, Kirk, and he took it back 43 yards to set Miami up in plus territory. Again, it's Brown and Fletcher flanking back. And it's a flea flicker. Back, launches downfield. Tony's out there. He's got a touchdown, Miami. Trickery as they cash in the takeaway. 44 to the house.
What a call by Shannon Dawson. Earl Little just getting aggressive. What does Miami typically do? They want to run the football on 1st and 10. Safety gets a little bit nosy. Comes down, wants to help out and run support. Now he realizes it's too late. The flea flicker catches him napping, and a perfectly thrown deep ball that time by Carson Beck for the touchdown.
That's his 2nd beautiful deep shot. Plenty of air, allow a fast guy to run underneath it. How about sudden change? Your defense gets the stop. It's a pick. The return sets you up.
Pointed there on the left. Happy right now.
Folks are disappointed here and stunned. This Florida State team, you know, they were mesmerizing Miami's defense. An impressive opening drive, did settle for 3, but this Miami offense has come to life. Beck, 7 for 8, 112 and 2 touchdowns.
We knew he'd have some opportunities tonight with this style of Florida State defense. He's taken advantage of them.
Let's take a look, Kirk, who's bringing the heat. Brought to you by Sonic.
Well, we want to go back and look at this touchdown. They motion. See the motion right here. But what I want you to see is the slow play by the receivers selling the run. Do they look like they're running for routes? They slow play it, and then that opens up. The safety comes down. But watch the effort by 4. After he gets the ball, flips it back, makes that block on a would-be linebacker. Fletcher with a tremendous effort, well coached to get back there and help out to give Carson Beck time to make that throw to the true freshman for the touchdown to Tony.
Promo on the edge. One of the running backs in the stable, and the freshman who got the start tonight picks up 9. So Ahmad Moten from Miami, that defensive tackle went out earlier. They were looking at his arm. Appears to be okay. He's back in there.
Yeah, he's got a brace on, back out there.
Promo again. Enough to get this drive up and running. First down to the 38.
This is the thing with tempo offenses that either works great or it can backfire. You're down 14-3. You need to make a play. You got to kind of stick to who you are as an offense, which is tempo and misdirection. But they need to put a drive together right here. You cannot afford to go off the field quickly with this tempo.
It's Danzy who comes in motion. He's got the football, and the Canes are all over him. Ruben Bain is going to draw a flag.
Yeah,
made the play, but
Right call.
Yeah.
Horse collar. He pulled right down in the nameplate, right in front of the official.
Horse collar tackle. Defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Yeah, he's so athletic, so explosive, does a really good job. Again, you got to protect the edges. He knows that. But that right hand is where he pulled down and got the nameplate. Easy call for the official.
You called him a menace all season. He is, but a second penalty tonight against Spain moves the football into Miami territory at the 4. It's Pittman who comes in motion as a blocker for Chromo, who tries to bounce it and ends up heading back inside, picks up about 4, tackled by Scott.
One thing I think to keep an eye on tonight with this tempo is Miami's defensive line. So talented, but do they have the depth to rotate bodies in and out and withstand 60 minutes of going up against that? Jason Taylor, defensive line coach, former Miami Dolphin and great NFL player, does a good job coaching his unit, but they might need some depth here to deal with this.
Castellanos flushed, has a lot of space, takes off and sprints to the sidelines. It should be enough for another Florida State first down. Bain was chasing and wasn't going to win that foot race.
Yeah, that's what he does. I mean, you got Ruben Bain, who's as good as there is, comes close to being able to get to him, works to the inside that time of Hansen. But when you work to the inside, you give up that edge.
Pittman dropped the football. Had it set up, and now a late flag comes in. It's in the area where Bain was involved with.
That's on Florida State, a late hit.
The offensive lineman, Jacob Risey.
Yeah, Risey jumped on top of him well after the whistle.
Confusion on the part of Norvell. That was really a senseless penalty.
Had some momentum after the Ruben Bain penalty. Now they backfire.
Pittman, too, had some space. Had he been able to make that easy catch.
There it is in the backfire.
Unnecessary roughness.
Right there.
Offense, number 64. 15-yard penalty. Replay first down.
A Harvard transfer, Kirk. How does a Harvard man make a mental mistake like that? Backup guard here.
No idea.
Not an Ivy League move. Backs the football into Florida State territory at the 47. Makes it 1st and 25 now. Challenging to overcome that. Try to run it on 1st and 25, and Sawchuk gets a couple. Bain right there in the tackle.
Yeah, that's the thing about, again, Bain is it's not just, again, what he does on the edge. Watch Bain here get off the tackle, shed the block, and then get down and make that play against the run.
Isn't it wild? You look at their defensive stats. The 2 of the top 3 tacklers on this defense are defensive ends. That is ultra rare.
They have instincts of a linebacker.
On the edge, Jalen Lucas can escape. There's another short gain, and it's going to set up 3rd and ultra long here as they try to overcome that 15-yard penalty.
At that time, it was Keontae Scott made a heck of a play there to force that back. His defense, since that opening drive, seems to have kind of settled in.
Breathing hard, though.
Oh, yeah.
What do you got on 3rd and 21 against this defense?
Draw.
Castellanos
Screen.
trying to
Quick throw.
create some magic here. 4-man rush, and will take off. And he's going to be corralled. Well, that penalty by Risey really did set him back. No chance after that. Poyser and Damari Brown combine. And here comes the punt team. Momentum killer.
Yeah.
Penalty.
Yeah, they definitely picked up a couple first downs. They had the penalty on Bain, got across midfield, and then that mental error set them back, got them behind the sticks. This offense is really not built to get behind the sticks.
Cemento's punt is high, and Tony comes up and goes to one knee and makes a fair catch. 11 here, midway second quarter. This is Jordan Lyle, who started against Notre Dame, got hurt, and has taking time to work his way back into the lineup. Stop behind the line. Tackle made by K.J. Kirkland. Holly?
Well, after that long touchdown strike, Carson Beck and Malachi Toney came over to the sidelines together, and they were electric. Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, they all got together and watched the play over on the iPad. Huge smiles. Carson Beck was yelling at him, "I knew I got you. I knew I got you." That has breathed some real life into this Miami sideline.
Usually the iPad's looking to check out the defense formation. These guys just wanted to watch their highlight. I get it. Knowles crowd bringing some noise here on 2nd and 11. Beck has a lot of time. Now just checks it down. And that's Lyle, who's a talented guy. You know, Fletcher and Brown have taken it up and done really well. But you forget, this guy has a top gear. Has a dimension out of the backfield.
Yeah, and if you include the true freshman Pringle, they've got 4 back there that they feel really good about. So in a night where you need some depth, we talked about that with the Knowles defense. They're seeing that right now on the Miami side with their offense.
Miami 1 for 3 on 3rd so far. Lyle's in the slot left. They need about 2.5 yards. And as the Knowles were crowding the line, drew a false start.
Full start, offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Cooper. Just a little flinch there, 73, right guard, pushes him back a little further.
Now, Kirk, they bring in the pass rush team, a whole bunch of fresh defenders coming out for the Knowles as Beck figures to throw on 3rd and 7 here.
They've done a pretty good job of holding up against the pressure tonight.
Toney off to the left. Lyle is the back. Pressure does come, and Beck is flushed. Not the most electric runner. He does get north-south, but couldn't pick up the 7. Blake Nicholson knocked him down, and the Knowles defense gets off the field.
Yeah, they've been showing this all night where they walk 6 up to the line of scrimmage pre-snap. A couple times they brought them. We've seen this, too. You bring 6, you keep that offensive line, and the back's guessing. Do a pretty good job of picking it up. Just nobody open downfield, so they marry the rush up with the coverage, and Beck just has to eat it.
And that time, Kirk, it was a Miami penalty that really stalled momentum. Instead of 3rd and 2, they're punting the ball away. Squirrel White won't even have to feel this is a shank off the side of the foot. Not a very good effort there by Dylan Joyce. And the Aussie does not meet his own standard with that 29-yarder. Guy who wears 94 to honor Lou Headley. It was an Aussie who punted before him. Pittman in motion. Chroma has the handoff, tries to bounce it, loses the football, and Miami has a second takeaway tonight. Usman Chroma was dancing around there, was knocked loose, and Keontae Scott, the corner, comes up with it.
Just about to say, after you said that Miami gets the ball to start the second half, what a big opportunity with this field position for Castellanos and the Seminoles offense. Ball just gets away from his body. See the hand there. Good job of just being able to knock that away by Poyser, the safety, who's really coming off a great game last week. See his left hand right there on the football, strips it, and then look at all those white jerseys, and Scott ends up jumping on it. And now you give the ball right back to Miami.
Because they flip that around, what you were just saying, now it's Miami near midfield. Instead of trying to cut into a lead, a chance to really build on it before the break.
And Knowles got to figure things out. They opened up so promising, and a nice drive, field goal since then, a punt, an interception, a punt, and then a fumble on that last possession.
Beck under center. We'll see more of that tonight. Lyle is the back. Another one of those condensed formations, and they run it to Lyle. Runs into traffic and falls forward for about 3. What's behind putting Beck under center more and less in the shotgun tonight?
Well, I think first on the crowd noise allows them to be able to communicate a little bit better, but they're so good at the downhill running game. I think Shannon Dawson loves getting me under center. He's comfortable with the rhythm, with the play action look off of it. You get that defense from time to time really collapsing and come off the play action look. So they'll mix it in a little bit more tonight, being on the road here in Tallahassee.
Back in the gun now on 2nd and 8. And flags down. Beck fires to Tony, who's running free. Malachi Tony, bursting free, is going to take this all the way to the pylon.
Going to come back.
And they signal touchdown, but it was a flag right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's an illegal shift. The guy coming in motion broke a little bit too early, so this one will come back.
Very fortunate for Florida State because number 10 was out loose again.
He's so fast.
And that's bad news for the defense.
Broken
illegal
coverage.
motion offense. Number 0 is going forward at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
Isn't that amazing? Just a little thing like that. Just it didn't have anything to do with the play. Just a lack of discipline. See him in motion. He's going to cut towards the line a little early.
Yep.
That's it. Play's dead. But look at 10, what he's capable of doing. He's a guy that reclassified. We talked about that last week at the Florida game. Should be a senior in high school. Making moves like that in a rivalry game. Now it comes back, but it just, again, gives you an idea of what this guy will be able to do throughout his career for the Hurricanes.
Already so mature, so savvy. A couple of weeks ago was his 18th birthday. So 2nd and 13 instead of a touchdown. It's Lyle going in motion, Beck looking that way. Now instead flips it underneath, and the Noles do a good job defending Elijah Lofton, the tight end, but tackling him is a little tougher. They kind of read the play well, but that talented tight end able to make a positive play out of it.
Had 245 pounds out of Bishop Gorman, and in Las Vegas, he's a very, very gifted player. You can see how physical he can be. The Noles got the cane. The Noles have the Canes exactly where they got him. Got him behind the sticks after the penalty. They'll probably walk up close to the line of scrimmage, try to affect the communication with this offensive line.
Empty backfield on 3rd and 8. Noles now show late pressure. Don't bring it. Beck steps up, hit as he throws. The pass rush effected it. And that was pressure from Mandrell Desir, one of the Desir brothers from Miami. Only a 3-star recruit, overlooked by most schools. It's a nice play there.
Yeah, there's a push here and then a stunt to the inside. Now they show those two inside linebackers, but it's just really the pocket just collapsing there on that right side.
So, Kirk, it's a missed opportunity for both offenses now. Miami, chance to really go for the jugular. That electric play by Tony nullified by just a mental mistake. And now they'll punt it away with 3:15 before halftime. That throw under pressure snapped a streak of 7 straight completions by Beck. He was 9 for 11 in the first half with a couple of touchdowns. Dylan Joyce try to pin FSU back. It's a better effort than the last one. Squirrel White is going to let it bounce, and it's going to bounce sideways. So he atones for the shank and knocks it dead inside the 10. Holly, tell us about the WNBA playoffs.
That's right. Game 1 was electric last night, and tomorrow.
Jerseys, and somehow Pittman comes back with it.
2nd down run for Sawchuk. Violence and swarm. Those are the 2 words that Corey Heatherman always uses about his defense. And, you know, the result of just swarming to the ball, sometimes they don't show up, but often they create huge plays just on sheer effort.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. We've seen that already in his first half.
Just got it off. Blindside. Big hit delivered on Castellanos as Scott was making a beeline at high velocity for the quarterback.
But he did such a good job of disguising this and waiting to the last.
76 yards. He led the nation in yards per completion coming in. Hasn't had a huge play through the air. And they've limited this Seminole pass game. It's a nice catch by Deuce Robinson. Picks up about 10, and that's another first down.
That's good for another Florida State
Florida State with those 2 turnovers narrowly avoided a third early in this possession.
And that hard clap, saw that blitz, the potential blitz. Again, Scott kind of jumped. I don't know if they're adjusting to that. Miami looks like they're sitting back.
Castellanos will be swallowed in the pocket. Hakeem Mesidor, as they have done throughout the season, terrorizing quarterbacks.
Yeah, they brought the blitz on that side. You get pressure here. They bring the pressure there, and Mesidor ends up getting one-on-one. That's one of the beauties of bringing linebacker or safety pressure is you can free up and create one-on-one opportunities for both the ends. That time it was Mesidor.
Screen, Sawchuk had to kind of spin back, but he's got some space, and Gavin Sawchuk makes a nice hurdle move and gets out across the 35, picked up 13.
Yeah, Lawrence McCoy made a heck of a block to give him another chance, another 8 or 10 yards.
So it's third down and about 6 here, playing with tempo. Castellanos has time and delivers a ball at high over the hands of Robinson. And Jacoby Thomas was kind of in the passing lane there anyway. Might have tipped it.
Yeah, I think he did. Good eyes on the quarterback. I think he got a finger on that football. We're going to watch 8. He just kind of read it, comes off the tight end, gets into that passing lane. You know, only one receiver in this first half has made a catch for the Seminoles. Deuce Robinson. That's it. Not able to get the ball to anybody else on the perimeter.
No
so
catch
far
for Squirrel White so far, Kirk. Danzy's run the ball, hasn't made a catch. You're right. In the punt, and Chimento will bounce, and Tony will just let it roll dead down at the 8-yard line with 46 seconds. Our buddy Kevin Nagandi will give us an idea what's coming up at halftime. Kevin?
Defense is balling. And how about this? How about Marcel Reed playing fast?
Marcel Reed, the touchdown pass. Keep in mind, Mike Elko, 10-0 in September and October so far. They're up 7-3 against Mississippi State. Back to you, Chris, Kirk, and Holly.
Thanks. If you weren't locked in today, check out halftime. A lot of really interesting, wild afternoon stunners.
It always happens on a week where there aren't a bunch of ranked versus ranked matchups. I mean, Penn State losing to UCLA.
Jerry Neuheisel steps in. Rick Sun calling plays. And you couldn't believe that UCLA was winless. They ripped apart Penn State's defense.
Just went up and down the field against them. Alabama, Vanderbilt ended up being a really competitive game.
Miami team couldn't put away Notre Dame or Florida easily. Those games had to come right down to the final possessions. Chris, Kirk, back with Holly. What has to change for Florida State? They're on defense here to begin third quarter.
They've actually been playing pretty good against the run. The problem has been they gave up a couple big pass plays, and that's been a difference in the game. I don't think you change a lot. You got to continue to blow up that running game because Miami's probably going to lean on it a little bit more with this 11-point lead in the second half. But they got to get aggressive, try to create a turnover, try to get Carson Beck behind the sticks and keep coming after him. They've been playing, give up 14 in the first half. They're playing pretty good defense.
And when they get the football, can they get back to that rhythm they had? Gus Malzahn calling plays in that opening possession when they went 70 yards and had to settle for 3. Marty Brown off the left side, muscles forward. This would be what you'd expect Cristobal to want to do with the lead, begin to get the running game going.
Yeah, they're actually going to go a little tempo here to start this second half.
Second down 5.
They fake it to Brown. Beck now on the move and will dive forward. Picks up a couple. There's nobody open. And sets up a 3rd and 2.
Yeah, I thought he might pull the trigger. He had an open man at the top there. Watch the corner shows. He gets a little nosy. He's got a chance to get it in there to C.J. Daniels, who's actually looking that way and came off of him. Maybe he felt the safety was creeping down, didn't want to take that chance.
Third's been a struggle against this FSU defense tonight for Miami, just 1 of 5. Beck hoping to throw for it here and does pitch it to the tight end, Alex Bowman, and he makes the catch out across the 44, a first down. Nicholson stopped him.
A good job here by Marty Brown. They get pressure. Watch him sit in there and be able to help out. Give Carson Beck in a blind side just enough time to be able to find that open tight end for the first down. Good conversion.
Breaking a tendency there. Pitch to the edge. Daniels trying to weave through traffic and picks up about 5.
I think the great thing about what Shannon Dawson has as an offensive coordinator and the skill that he has, you got a veteran quarterback in Carson Beck. You got a big physical offensive line. You got Fletcher and a committee of backs that run with their shoulders square and they get downhill. And Florida State says, hey, we're going to try to take that away. And we've seen they have the ability to make you pay by throwing downfield. So they really wait to see what you want to take away, and they have the strength to go the other direction.
2-back look again with Brown and Fletcher flanking back. And this is Brown. Turns it up. He is just so hard to tackle. Bounces to midfield, picks up 4. It'll be 3rd and short again.
Miami prides themselves on his physicality. Florida State in his 3-3-5. They want to eat up those offensive linemen, let those linebackers get downhill. And as this game goes on and you get into that late in the third, into the fourth quarter, who's going to be the tougher team, mentally tougher and more conditioned team? Because it's a lot of body blows going on down there.
Big Ilo Fatsuli, the offensive lineman, wearing that fullback number 46 in the I formation, trying to block for Brown, and he's slung forward for a first down in FSU territory. 290 as a blocking fullback.
Pretty nice to have that, not to mention the extra offensive lineman. It's 7 offensive linemen in on that short yardage play. Still able to get the push, even though you know it's coming. They're very confident that they can lean on you. Again, this is where when they go 2 backs, get ready for a shot downfield. Got to have discipline with your eyes if you're on the back end of Florida State's defense. Knowles.
Another pre-snap penalty. Another false start.
Yeah, left tackle, Bell.
False start, offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Look, Miami trying to get to 5-0. Obviously in the top 5. They got to clean up stuff like this, though. Cristobal would be pounding on that message every week.
Oh, yeah.
These little penalties, well, it did nullify an electric 50-yard gain by Tony. It can kill momentum. 1st and 15.
So far, a methodical drive here to open up the second half.
7th play of it right here. And Fletcher is going to be trapped behind the line. Diving through there was Daniel Lyons from the D tackle position. Kane's going backwards.
I think there's some confusion on the right side. 73's pulling out, allows him to be able to shoot through. Watch his confusion after he goes out. Then he tries to come back in. Just a miscommunication with Cooper. That time the right guard, who's really the leader up front. That 3-3-5 can create some confusion just on the shade of where they are. He kicked out, should have come down, not let him able to penetrate.
2nd and 16. Back, checks it down. This is Fletcher. And Fletcher makes something of it, but it'll set up 3rd and long. You know, we haven't called Earl Little Jr.'s name a lot. He's number 0. He's the seek and destroy safety. Many say the most important guy in the kind of scheme you're talking about. They've done a pretty good job because we haven't said his name much.
The only time we really talked about him is when he's so physical and he wants to get downhill. When they had the trickery through the touchdown pass, he was down to be able to stop the run and ended up costing him a touchdown. An aggressive player.
If you can keep in contained, that's a hard thing to do, but it's an important mission for any offense playing Florida State. Tony's got it. Malachi Tony dives forward, and he's going to be stopped a couple of yards short. Little did make the play that time, so Cristobal has a decision here on 4th down. You try to punt it, or do you keep the offense out there?
Well, he's working with an 11-point lead. I think you're going to see the analytics probably say to go for this.
Don't the analytics always say to go for it? Guy Tony up here said, "Go." He wants to go for it no matter what the situation is.
I think they sense an opportunity here. Shows you the confidence they also have in their defense.
Stayed in the huddle a long time. Play clock at 6. Fletcher is the back. Beck looking to throw. They bring pressure. It's picked up. Caught. Tony off and running. Malachi Tony. He doesn't lose foot races. 4th down, touchdown as the Canes stretch the lead from 40.
There's that condensed formation look again. And, Tony is just a guy that if you can just get him the football and just give him a chance to be able to show you what he can do after the catch. Again, he does such a good job of instincts and just feeling the soft spot. And then right there, you just talked about Little and what he can do in the open field. That time he gets turned around, and once he got turned around, the speed of Tony, very obvious. 4th down, they decide to go for it, and pays off for the touchdown.
Malachi Tony, Liberty City, Miami, played his high school football in Broward, played quarterback, did whatever it took to win a state championship. A day 1 star in college football for this true freshman. Canes' lead is up to 18. Michael Irvin loves it. This year. Well, a 4th and 2 touchdown pass for Tony. His 2nd strike from beyond 40 yards. The playbook brought to you by Modelo.
What a job these defensive ends have done. We know about them coming in. We talked about both Bain and Mesidor. Playing a lot more zone. Just relying on Bain to be able to win on the outside, trying to contain the quarterback. There's a pick where he threw it late over the middle. Mesidor here with a little game blitz off the edge there. Created a one-on-one opportunity. He's able to get home. Tough to block both these guys when you leave them one-on-one. And there's the drive chart. Go back. 11-play, 70-play field goal for the opening drive since then. Look at this. Punt, interception, punt, fumble, and another punt.
Well, they go right to the air. Oh, an opportunity across the middle there to Squirrel White. Looking for his first catch off the hands. Holly?
Well, speaking with Coach Mike Norvell, he said they've got to regain some composure. They put the ball in difficulty, jeopardy a couple of times with turnovers. He says, we've just got to calm down and execute. He also pointed out they've lost their right tackle, Micah Pettis. They're getting hurt on the edges with Bain and Mesidor. So they've got number 64, Jacob Rizzi, in there right now. Let's see how he holds up.
He's a keeper. Castellanos is free. And is their best chance perhaps to make a big play. He was knocked out of bounds. No flag. Zechariah Poyser hit him. Well, he was airborne. And Castellanos up okay.
Yeah, right on cue. Rizzi makes a good block. They got him in at right guard, and he kicks out the blitz to Jacoby Thomas. And with man coverage, we saw this on the opening drive. The best time Castellanos to be able to make plays is against man when he scrambles.
Longest run play tonight, picked up 18 now from the pocket. Long throw and wide open is McCoy. LaWayne McCoy with just his 5th catch of the season, and the Noles playing with some urgency, picking up yards in chunks, got 20.
And this is what you have to do to Bain to give the quarterback enough time. You got the tight end, you got a back. Started with the offensive tackle, and heck of a job by Castellanos working the field, coming all the way to the backside to find McCoy for that first down. There's Bain, Pittman, the tight end. He got a back on him. Because of that double team, he had just enough time to serve the entire coverage before he made that throw.
On the move, Castellanos launches downfield to the end zone. Squirrel White is in there, and it is going to be intercepted. Jacoby Thomas came tracking across. White was open. Ball was in the air a long time. And yet another FSU turnover.
That's the second time we've seen him throw it late over the middle. And here's Thomas right here. Does a really good job on this half roll. He's just kind of moving with the quarterback. Right now, ball's late at this point, and not only late, it hangs up. Makes it easy for Thomas to be able to make that play. There's Bain working, forces the ball out. But that's just a mistake by Castellanos. He'd love to have that one back. It's either got to get out earlier, it's got to be thrown on a line. He can't hang that one up.
Jacoby Thomas beginning to stack really good games, played really well against Florida, had a sack, recovered a fumble against the Gators, and now the second interception of Castellanos sets up Miami at the 20, trying to add to this 18-point lead. Quick pitch to the perimeter, and that's Elijah Lofton, the tight end, who kind of bulldozes ahead. Holly?
Well, you guys talked earlier about Tommy Castellanos and his leadership on this team. After that interception, he comes over, Squirrel White is beside himself right now. He feels like he made a mistake, and Castellano just hits him. It's okay, man. It's okay, man. They're trying to sort things out here on the sideline.
All right, Holly, you think anything that the receiver did was the reason for the interception?
No, not at all. I think the ball was just late. And like I said, it hung up in the air too much.
Out of the backfield. And it's Lofton again. Big fella rumbling. You can see you throw in an athletic tight end who can move that well. It's another weapon at the disposal. 11 more.
Yeah, and actually a really nice design where they pulled the backside guard. Cooper had a play action look. You'd think you're going to hand it off. Then you slide the tight end out on that slide route where there's nobody out there. And we talked about him earlier. He's listed at 242. He looks 245 to 250 to me.
Sure does.
He's a handful.
It moves well, and they, unlike the Seminoles, able to spread the ball around with this pass game. Receivers, tight ends haven't used the backs yet as much as they usually do as receivers. Look out, Tony's got the football. And 10 up when 10 has the rock, and he knocked him down after a gain of about 6.
Yeah, the great thing about Tony as a freshman, or even if he were a senior, is he could go downfield and make a play with the ball skills on a vertical shot. He has that ability. And also, as we've seen tonight, he can catch an underneath throw and make one guy miss. And with that speed, he's off to the races.
You see the stats. He's got receptions of 44 and 40 and had a 50-yard plus play that was called back by a penalty. In the worst case scenario, if you're a Florida State fan, is now seeing this Miami running game begin to get going downhill. That's a first down.
Watch Brockermeyer here, the center. Watch this move right here of trying to just work on a reach block, get his back turned to the hole, open that up nicely. That was beautiful. The alpha of that offensive line. The transfer came over from TCU.
Dad played in the NFL.
That was a
Bloodlines.
heck of an athletic move there by Brockermeyer.
Tony's off to the right. And on the end around, it's Marion. Keelan Marion has a convoy of blockers, and he knifes through the Florida State defense down inside the 30.
Hey, it's easy to say from up here. If he would have just been a little bit more patient and just let these blocks get downfield, he walks to the end zone. He just wanted to take off and go, and I don't blame him. But eventually, a Seminoles player able to navigate his way through 4 or 5 offensive linemen. Once again, Shannon Dawson with a great play call here.
So you're saying let the big fellas do their work.
Yeah,
Bide your time.
Easy. Let them get a hat on a hat. Pew, then go.
Well, the Seminole defense reeling here now. 2 backs. It's Fletcher off that right side. Just dragging people for 4 or 5 more. Body blows beginning to take their toll. This was a front that did a really good job in the first half stopping the run, but Miami beginning to wear on them.
Like I said, I think the balance of this offense of Shannon Dawson, they can pound you. That's what they pride themselves on with their head coach. But as we've seen with Beck and these receivers, that's what makes them so tough as teams, not just tonight, but throughout the year, makes this offense tough to defend. Is you have to put numbers up to stop the running game, and you leave yourself vulnerable one-on-one in the back end.
Beck lofting downfield into the end zone, incomplete. It was only Johnson. Another streak of 8 completions snapped with that incompletion there. Daniels in traffic. C.J. Daniels dives to the end zone, and Miami big time flex on the road. Another explosive touchdown pass. And more taunting from Daniels.
Boy, they have really mixed up this play calling. They put a couple receivers into the boundary, and they go with that tunnel screen. And what a great job of just being an instinctive runner after the catch by C.J. Daniels. You remember C.J. Daniels, the opening game against Notre Dame, had maybe the catch of the year with that one hand. That's him again. And we've seen tonight, you put he and Tony out there together with these running backs and this offensive line, it's a lot to like about the Canes.
Daniels and Tony, 2 touchdowns each. Bet
about these receivers, but this is what you love to see. Look at the freshman 10 make that block in front. Now watch him finish up and over. I mean, these guys aren't just trying to make plays to score touchdowns. They help each other out. I mean, look at that effort by the freshman to want to get involved to help his teammate.
4. That's how many touchdown passes I have tonight. And it's 7 in the previous 4 games coming into tonight. Yeah, I'd keep looking for those 2 elite wide receivers out there.
It's the second time we've had a chance to call Miami, and I can't tell you how much I love their receivers. Not just the playmaking ability, but the unselfish, aggressive attitude that they all play with. Not 1 or 2, everybody. And 7 Daniels really sets that tone.
Knowles searching for ways to fight back.
And what a moment for UCLA. Nico had a chance to have a big day throwing the ball, running. Penn State, just a devastating loss coming off the heels of the loss last week to the Ducks.
And unable to bounce back from that double OT loss on a whiteout, but a stunner in the Rose Bowl today. Underneath, this is Chroma, and they are swarming to the sidelines and bring him down. Is there going to be, there is a flag. So Miami hit a little over aggressive after they rounded him up, but Holly.
Hey, Holly went down. Holly, you all right? You all right, girl?
I have an injury update on myself. I'm good, but what I wanted to point out before I got wiped out was just look at the uniform of Bain and Messidor. These guys are going after it. They are filthy. They're tired. They're sweaty, and they keep putting so much pressure on guys. I just wanted to point out these are like the old.
Hold on, Holly. We're showing you.
Holly, look out.
Watch those
Holly,
knees.
Watch the knees. Watch the knees, girl. Come on.
My back pedal. I was waiting for you guys to toss it. My back pedal was off.
Michael Irvin did not stand in front of and protect you there.
Jason Taylor.
Right hey,
we got Michael Irvin.
To protect me out here.
Did they get you? I was scared I'd get a flag right me into it a little bit.
All right. Well, next time I'll protect you if you're not going to protect me.
Michael was not chivalrous there. I got to tell you. You're right though. She protected the knees. After the 15-yard penalty, it gives Florida State a little spark and some field position.
Oh man. How about Holly staying focused there? She's got the WNBA playoffs going. She's working everywhere.
Look at her heart's about 200 beats a minute right now.
Jay Dub's down there with his Dodgers hat on. He's given up on the Carolina Football Ball Club, so he's going to ride the Dodgers home. Michael Irvin's feeling good right now.
2nd and 7. And feeding Sawchuk. And they're sticking with kind of the Gus Malzahn offense, even down 25, Kirk. A long way to go. Got to get some chunk plays, though.
They're just not, obviously. This is an offense that is built when they're dictating their tempo and kind of their overall vibe of the offense, of the flow of the game, the rhythm of the game. And it's almost like going back to when a Navy or an Army would get behind and get into obvious pass. They don't have a sophisticated drop back passing game. So they got to keep relying on, running the football and play action and moving the quarterback around.
Castellanos running for his life. He'll be tripped up. Ball came out late. He was down before it came loose. Jacoby Thomas showing some speed. He has been tormenting the quarterback tonight.
Yeah, they said that last week he had one of his best games. Here he is coming off the edge, and I'll tell you, he shows a lot of closing speed here. Good job of not giving up on that play, chases him down. As you said, Chris, the speed, 6'2", 200 pounds, transfer from Tennessee, gets in there to knock him down.
See, the knee did hit before Castellanos tried to throw the football, but it's 4th and 16. So even with that over-emotional 15-yard penalty, the Noles couldn't do much with it. There's Tony as a returner. Backed off at the last second. And last thing you want to do with a big lead is be risky in that position. The words after the play there. And Beck, this Miami offense, back to work.
He's been very patient. He's taken his shots when he's had them. 18 of 21 with the 4 touchdowns.
They haven't sacked him.
No, he's had time. Again, you knew Florida State would crowd the line. You knew their receivers would have some one-on-one opportunities. Just a matter of, hey, we're going to get them, and when we get them, we got to hit them. It's exactly what they've done. It's really the difference in the game.
Three receivers shift out to the left. Tony standing behind the tight end, Bowman. Lyle is the back. He's got it running right. Jordan Lye comes back in, and here's Cristobal with his guys.
You're up 28-3, but you played in this game. Look at this. He doesn't see the score. You know, he is. This rivalry's obviously in his blood, and he doesn't want his guys to take their foot off the gas one bit.
Those teeth still grinding over there on the sideline.
Knowles need to make a play here. They got to somehow create a turnover, get some momentum back.
Cutting back, Lyle takes a big shot, knocked down about a yard short of the marker by Elijah Hare. You talked about, Cristobal, who grew up in Miami watching this rivalry, and then you look at him getting downfield, knocking people backwards.
He was a great offensive lineman. He always talks about how he had great players around him, which he did.
The guy he trusts the most is Alex Mirabal. They met at Christopher Columbus High School down in Miami on the freshman football team. They have been best man at each other's wedding, and he's the only guy that he will trust to coach his offensive line. Alex Mirabal, a very interesting story. And for 15 years, he was a high school history teacher. There he is. The least offensive line coach yards in that quarter, Kirk, 171-35. The Knowles producing just 35 yards. Lyle trying to bounce it and get the edge. He's going to be knocked down. Flags flying all over the place in the secondary. Jerry Wilson made the play.
And they might have had a holding there on Loft and the tight end.
You could see Dre Magdalenas read his lips.
Offense,
it is
number 9. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Mario's a hard grader, and he will say a lot of things to clean up. That is another penalty on Miami tonight. 7 now for 50 yards.
Yeah, pretty easy one to call there. Grabbing onto that jersey, and you're right. I mean, it's, when you're up 28-3, you keep pushing. Remember, he worked for Nick Saban, and Nick Saban, sometimes he coached the toughest when he had the bigger leads. And Mario Cristobal, he's ratcheted up the intensity down there with this lead.
Lyle plows forward. You guys are headed up to Eugene, one of the great college game day locations, as the Hoosiers come calling.
Yeah, I mean, who would ever think Indiana and Oregon? That's a conference game in the Big Ten these days, and what a top 10 matchup that'll be. Two big personalities as head coaches going head to head, and then you and I will be in Dallas, Red River rivalry. So I look forward to heading from New York for my Thursday game with the Giants and Eagles over to Eugene, Oregon, and then quick trip down to Dallas for the Red River rivalry.
You're gonna make the pick. You're gonna make the picks again from a plane.
I think I am. I think I'm gonna have to. Yeah.
Daniels unable to spin free that time. Stop behind the line. It'll set up 3rd down and 20 now. Here's the menu. Saturday, noon, Alabama. Off an impressive hard-fought win over Vandy. Goes on the road to Missouri.
Another tough game.
Georgia and Auburn from the Plains. Georgia just pounding away. Took care of Kentucky today, routine fashion. Think about, the Alabama loss in here. As impressive as they've been, you wonder, how did that happen? We see this Florida State team tonight really struggle against the Hurricanes. Gillen Marion couldn't corral it, and Miami will punt it away.
I think that game really, especially coming off the year that Florida State had last year, people are interested to see the changes they made with coordinators, the portal. They brought in so many new players, and And then they had that big splash moment, caught everybody's attention. So the bar went right back up to being, hey, this team's for real. And I think that last week's game against Virginia, a tough one, and then tonight, rivalry game. And so far, Miami's obviously been able to have the upper hand.
Line drive punt. Wide, tried to field it and got blown up. Huge hit delivered. And that was Dylan Day, sophomore defensive back, lighten up the returner. Get 15 yards added, and we'll begin this drive in.
Right.
Dr. Pepper showing you how tough it's been for this offense since that opening possession. Second down in Miami territory. Miami brings pressure. Castellanos is being chased by Scott and fires far sidelines, and the catch is made. Javon Boggs, guy who's been injured, returns tonight, makes just his 5th catch of the season. Good job getting both feet in.
And possessed the ball. Yep, kept possession there. Good effort there.
Physical wide receiver, freshman. Castellanos pitches it far side, incomplete.
Still have 12 minutes, 6 seconds to go here, but these last 2 years in this state where there's so much pride about getting these programs up and who has the upper hand, Miami, if they end up winning this game, they'd be 6-0 in this state if you include Florida and Florida State, USF, outscoring them 230-68.
Wow. Verse, ball pitch back. Danzy watched it back, and they're trying to get it to Jalen Lucas, but the Canes were closing in on Castellano. Both Mesidor and Bain kind of meet at the quarterback there.
Well, Gus Malzahn is trying anything to try to get this offense on track. Obviously well known for his trickeration, different plays that he tries to hit. That time just trying to set up a lot of window dressing. End of the day, he's trying to set up a screen. But even if that's caught, Miami still had defenders there.
Need 10 on 3rd down. Castellanos pressured again, escapes, trying to run for it, and weaves to the defense and slides down. Nice effort by the quarterback to keep this drive going.
That's what you love to see. I mean, this game, but it's 28-3 in the 4th quarter in a rivalry game. You're disappointed, but it's good to see the trigger man still out there competing and battling.
Playing with tempo, pitch to the edge, and that's a nice play off the edge there by Jacoby Thomas. Holly talked about him, healthy enough to return. Made the stop again.
Yeah, coming off his best game against the Gators, that's continued tonight. Just doing a better job of finishing on plays. We saw that on that blitz where he chased down Castellanos.
Again, leaves the pocket, pumps, scans downfield, and fires on the near sideline. Catch made by Danzy. Picked up a dozen. First down again for Florida State.
And Knowles doing a good job of taking advantage. Miami just playing a little bit softer, just trying to keep things in front of them. That time got lost in coverage. Castellanos found him, made a big play.
So, and a timeout taken by Cristobal for his defense. He knew they were winded and set up by the targeting call on the punt return, which gave him good field position. He moved it in 7 plays into scoring position here. Castellanos keeping all the way and unable to find the edge. Knocked out of bounds. Flying up to make the play was Damari Brown off the corner.
Yeah, these edge players from Miami get a lot of hype, and they deserve it. Akeem Mesidor, number 3, and Ruben Bain Jr., 4. Combined tonight like we've seen all year. 10 tackles, a sack, and 2 tackles for a loss.
Castellanos has to spin free at pressure and stops and now tosses to the end zone. Jump ball caught. Oh, incomplete. Deuce Robinson kind of boxed his man out. He's a very good basketball player. but couldn't come up with the catch.
Yeah.
Norvell isn't so sure. Tried to grab it with one hand here.
That was a power forward move right there, trying to get room for a rebound. He just kind of boxes him out, like you said, the progressive pylon cam. We're pushing and shoving both ways.
Yeah, get physical down there in the low post, right? You did kind of get grabbed, which Norvell was asking about. 3rd and 7 now. First down at the 1 yard line. 3 receivers off to the right. Robinson has yet to make a reception in this half. He's off to the left. Castellanos is running and now flips it into the end zone. Touchdown. LaWayne McCoy worked free, and Castellanos bought time, and finally an FSU score tonight.
Well, he does such a good job of working and keeping his eyes downfield and then working to the backside when he takes off to scramble. You know, you always hear that term plastering, and what that means is when the quarterback takes off, you better lock up on a receiver, and that time Miami just lost him.
They're going to go for Dos, trying to cut this to a 17-point lead, brought to you by Dos Equis. Empty backfield. Castellanos pitches it back to the end zone, tried to get it to Deuce Robinson. Now a flag came in. More tough defense in the low post. That time they do draw the foul against Jacoby Thomas.
Draw the foul.
That's 2 shots.
Pass interference. Defense, number 8. Half the distance to the goal penalty. Remains to try down.
Friendly conversation with Robinson. They've been going back and forth. That's actually with McCoy. They'll try this again from about 1.5 yards away now. Sawchuk has single coverage to the far right of the formation. Danzy comes in motion. He's got it, and he's able to get into the end zone. They dragged him down with another penalty. Chase Smith right on the face mask, but Florida State does cut it to 17 here. Multiple flags. Let's see if it's only the face mask or something else. Jim Magdalenis will sort this out. Good looking drive. Castellanos continue to battle, and Seminoles finally get that touchdown. Gus Malzahn offense had never been held to 3 points ever as a head coach or a play caller anywhere.
The ruling on the field, the 2-point try is good. Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 41. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 55.
Yeah, that's why Mike
Those
Norvell
fouls will offset.
He was
We'll
talking
have the kickoff at the 35-yard line.
Gunnar Hansen when he came off the field. He was clearly upset about that reaction. Here's the AT&T connected clicker on the touchdown. Go back and watch Castellanos. Look how Bain, you almost anticipate Bain getting upfield, so he steps under it. What I love is that the line of scrimmage is about the 8-yard line. He stays behind it, goes parallel, and then looks all the way to the backside with great vision downfield to find McCoy for that touchdown.
Yeah, Kirk, Bain did exactly what he knew he couldn't do tonight, which is kind of get vertical. Castellanos is so good at cutting up inside the outside rusher. There's the 2-point play. Danzy on the jet sweep. Reaching up, Smith grabbing that face mask violently. But the offsetting dead ball foul means the kickoff's going to come from the normal position of the 35.
Hey, Chris, there's been chaos today. Washington came back from 20, ended up winning. UCLA, Florida, there's been chaos all over the place. Noles are thinking, why not us? 10:04 to go, down 17.
You think they know what's going on around the country with all those comebacks and crazy things? The ball is laying without a tee out here. This is interesting. You got a different guy to kick off. It's not Weinberg. Reyes, in fact, there's two kickers out there. Let's who's actually going to kick it. It's an onside kick, and it's easily covered. Hasn't much ado about nothing. Kind of just dribble it along the ground. Easy one. Just check in with Kevin Nagandi.
Career, it's time now for our Chick-fil-A move on the field. No chaos in Columbus, just the #1 team in the country. Ohio State rolling at home. Julian saying 3 touchdowns. This one to Carnell Tate, 44 yards. 42-3 Buckeyes. They've got Illinois on the road next week. Back to you guys.
Kevin, thanks. So that onside kick, which didn't exactly unfold like they hoped it would, gives Miami possession at the 43. Two-back look with Lyle and Fletcher. Lyle picks his way. Mentioned that this is Miami's first road game. It's their only game in 27 days. So a bye coming in, a bye next Saturday, and then Louisville comes down Hard Rock on Friday the 17th.
This good opponent, tricky opponent there.
First time they leave Florida is when they go to Dallas to take on SMU.
Tricky opponent there on the road against Pitt.
Yeah, near the end of the season, those 2 trips north, potential cold weather games, which would give any Miami fan alert. Long way to go. Louisville, a quality team. Virginia got past them. The Cavaliers will be on top of the ACC standings at 3-0. They won the Big East in their last year, actually co-champs of the Big East in 03, but since joining the ACC in 04, haven't won a conference title, haven't played for a conference championship except once. Trying for consecutive 10-win seasons, haven't been able to finish in the top 10.
You know what?
Well, in year 4. I mean, a lot of things they haven't done that this team could accomplish.
Yeah, and he's building it the right way. It's a program that's going to be able to sustain itself because of the way they're recruiting, developing, and using the portal.
3rd and 7, back, bounces it, flag down the offensive line pit area. Keelan Marion was the receiver, but not much there.
That's a holding call on the offense.
You can see the expression on Cristobal's face. He wants his team, as you said, to finish off what's been a really strong
offense. Number 63. The penalties decline. 4th down.
Okunlola. It's been a strong performance really across the board, but a little sloppy at the end here, and Florida State cutting it to 17. The Canes, even in great field position, don't do anything with it.
No, quick 3 and out, and more importantly, they didn't take any time off the clock at all. About a minute and a half, so the Noles will get the ball back.
Dylan Joyce trying to give him the ball back with poor field position. The Aussie was a welder in a small town in Australia before he was encouraged to give this punting thing a try. He's played Aussie football at a really kind of a Saturday afternoon in Dallas. Castellanos from his end zone, closing in, threw it, and that's Thomas making another play, breaking that pass up.
Yeah, that was a great play. You know, again, this is an offense that when they get into those obvious passing situations, it's not a complex scheme, so you're allowed to kind of sit here. You're just kind of reading the tight end coming out, just settle there as a safety, eyes in the backfield, jump the route, just knock it away.
Castellanos again. They bring pressure. He heaves it off his back foot. No chance. Way over the head of Pittman into the bench, and it's 3rd and 10. So Corey had them beginning to bring some pressure with the Noles backed up. Saw Virginia do that late in that game, sort of relentless blitzing. When they have to drop back and throw, it's tough. Tough proposition.
Yeah. Again, they, like we said earlier, they are an offense that when they're playing their kind of game, staying ahead of the sticks, it's a tough offense to defend. But when they're down late like this, got to throw, just don't really have the sophisticated scheme.
Play clock at 5. And Castellanos delivers a strike at the sideline. Deuce Robinson got free as the Canes soften up the coverage. So nice throw, and they do get the drive going.
Yeah, that time Xavier Lucas, who's a pretty physical corner, he didn't get a jam or a reroute, didn't get hands on the receiver at all. So an easy route and an easy throw for Castellanos. Surprised he didn't try to jam him.
Robinson had a quiet half until that play. Pressure again, running, trying to get away from Bain. Slings it far side. Again, they left alone a receiver, and that's LaWayne McCoy.
Another receiver to the inside, went vertical, took both the defensive backs. Miami just does not want to give up that big play. Figure they're willing to give up the underneath throws just to prevent that quick score.
Canes barely set. They're just sort of running guys on as the ball was snapped. And Sawchuk bangs forward, picks up about 6 or 7 on first down. Cristobal knows the job still not quite done. And now false start on the left side of that offensive line.
False start offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Tough job playing tackle against this team. You know, Mesidor and Bain. Sometimes they'll even put both guys on the same side, which could be a nightmare, but they've got a bunch of talented edge rushers.
You feel like Miami, if they're going to win this game, I mean, you look at that schedule we just put up, I think their biggest opponent is going to be the Mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're going to hear so many accolades, so many pats on the back. They're going to have to keep their edge to them.
It's a low throw, incomplete. Right, human nature is an enemy, as Cristobal well knows, coming from that Nick Saban school. Again, he calls it rat poison, phrase.
Yep. And then you look at every opponent. Oh, you guys, you're in the playoff already. You guys are, and you just have to block all of that out, as we saw today. UCLA beat Penn State. I mean, anything can happen on every Saturday. So they're going to have to just keep their edge.
Third and 8. Castellanos slips it short. And that's Pittman who's knocked down. It's going to be fourth down. A lot of the players are new, but all they have to do is look at the recent history of Miami, which has featured strong starts and then stumbling badly down the stretch. In playoff position last year, went up to Syracuse and just got ripped apart defensively. Gave up 42 in that game.
And we saw it today, but it's so hard to keep your A game every single Saturday. And Mario Cristobal in November and December at Miami, he's 4-10.
Knowles need this play to keep a flicker of hope alive on fourth down. Castellanos across the middle. It is complete. Deuce Robinson has first down yardage at the 42.
I'll tell you what, for a guy that's 6'6", 225 pounds, he's a really crisp route runner. Set that up perfectly and beat Xavier Lucas to the inside.
Tempo back. Trying to take advantage of a winded defense, and ball is fit in nicely. Danzy comes back to make a catch, and all of a sudden this Knowles offense executing with the downfield throws. They got 17 more.
We're going so fast, I'm going to be able to replay that. That might have been the catch of the night there by 19. Danzy to be able to reach his arms into traffic and bring that one down.
Who said he is far from a track guy. Now launching downfield, Robinson, another one of those battles with Thomas. Here's the play before you're talking about.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, what a throw, first of all, like a shortstop, and then reaching in there knowing that he's got 3 white jerseys closing in on him. And he's able to reach all the way out there and bring that one back. Great play.
It's a guy who suffered such a gruesome injury in high school. He's lucky to still be able to play football. A contusion so bad that the blood pooled. They had to take tissue out of his leg. 33 staples were put into that quad. That was in October. He went out and won the state championship in the spring in track. So an incredible recovery. But I've been told that, man, that was close. If they hadn't quite gotten it in time, you're talking about perhaps removing part of the leg. And here he is running around winning.
Defense. 5-yard penalty. Second down. Game clock.
So 2nd and 5 off that latest Miami penalty. Castellanos this time has plenty of time, makes a long throw to the sidelines that time. Danzy reached up, could not come up with it.
You're down 17, 3rd and 5. Obviously, at the very least, on a possession like this, you want to get it to a 2-possession game. So as much as you'd love to see the big play, the touchdown, him create, make something happen, at the very least, you got to get into field goal range on this drive. You got to do it quickly.
Need 5 on 3rd. It's Danzy who motions across. The Canes do not bring pressure. It's only a 3-man rush, and they still pressure Castellano, who's hit as he throws by Bain. Wow, when you get to the quarterback and you're outnumbered like that, that is impressive work.
Well, Medley's a guard. He had to push out to tackle tonight because of an injury. There's the chop, and then the bend there and the finish by Bain. He has a variety of moves. That time he used his speed for his size. I mean, this guy's 275, 280 pounds moving around like that, but great hands to be able to get the offensive lineman's hands down and then bend around to finish the play.
So it's another 4th down play the Noles desperately need. 4th and 5. That's Danzy motioning across 4 guys to the right side. And Castellanos trying to take off, and he's going to get there. They knew it was coming. They could not tackle him. He slipped out of the grasp there of a Miami defender and got the 1st down.
But Marquise Lightfoot's a really good pass rusher, but he's staying right here trying to make a play, and that is a really tough thing to do as an edge player.
So another 4th down conversion. This time pressure comes on 1st down. Castellanos across the middle, broken up. Deontay Scott got an arm. So they're battling and competing. This is a 14-play drive featuring a couple of 4th down conversions.
Thing I love to see is Florida State. I mean, you're down 17 with not a lot of time left, 5:07 to go. These guys are not giving up. They're still fighting and led by this quarterback, trying to cut into this lead.
Never started the play clock, which is still at 30. Castellanos backpedaling, escapes again, now pitches it far side. Oh, he had a man open, and it was over the head of Jalen Lucas.
Incomplete, third down.
Bryce Fitzgerald delivered the shot after the pass, but it was a missed opportunity.
I mean, he's doing everything back there, right? I mean, he's dropping back, he's getting pressured, he's stepping up, he's creating, he's keeping his eyes downfield, and it's really taxing on him. So the ball's going to sail from time to time, but at least he's keeping these plays alive.
Pretty taxing on the defense too, trying to chase this guy down. 37 pass attempts for Castellanos. That was certainly not the plan coming in.
No.
Play clock at 1. And slings it. One-handed catch by Pittman across the middle, but a very short gain. And it's going to be 4th down yet again. Fitzgerald made the stop.
The clock's your enemy. You need 3 possessions right now, including this one, to be able to get back into this game. The clock's working down. At some point, you need a field goal. And I kick the field goal and try the onside kick just to be able to get the ball back. But the clock's just ticking down here.
And so far, they've been able to keep hope alive with a couple 4th down conversions. They need 8 this time. Can Castellanos come up with something special here again? He's going to try to run for it. Now slings it low, and they've done it again. Pittman goes down low. Again, they convert on 4th down. They're set up at the 11-yard line.
Well, that time he does a really nice job of baiting the coverage towards him on his scramble. Their eyes are so concerned about him taking off that they leave the receivers downfield. That time it was the tight end.
Another timeout spent. Florida State's not substituting, so Miami really doesn't have a chance to get fresh bodies out there. And Cristobal says, wait a second, this is a 17-play drive. They moved it 85 yards, but play 18 coming up.
Yeah, again, Miami just trying to keep everything in front and try to chase the quarterback down, but he's doing such a good job. Make sure he got the hands underneath. Does. Nice secure catch. Here's the issue for the safeties is when the quarterback starts to take off, so he's got to decide, am I going to stay back? Am I going to help? Nope, I'm going to leave my man downfield. So you're either going to give it up, him scrambling with his legs, or you're going to come up, and with his vision downfield, he's going to make it pay with his arm.
Nobody sees more football than you, partner. When's the last time you saw a drive that featured 3 made 4th down conversions?
It's been a while.
That's happened on this one crusade.
17
stay alive.
Plays.
Yeah.
Problem is, it's taken about 4.5 minutes so far.
So the Hurricanes able to get a breather for these frontline defenders who've been chasing number 1 around in vain on this possession. Play 18 on the drive. Castellanos looking to run again. Scrambles forward. Knocked down from behind at the 5-yard line.
I think at this point in the game, their best play is call a pass play, let everybody clear out, run their routes, and then let number 1 take off and either pull it down himself or draw the coverage towards him and make a throw. But the clock continues to move.
The timeout by the Canes gave Castellanos time to get a breather, and he needs it. From the pocket, steps up, flips it short, caught, touchdown. Randy Pittman in a marathon march for Florida State. Ends with a touchdown. And they do cut into this lead. 19 plays, 3 4th down conversions in 5-10.
And that time you got to give the offensive line a lot of credit. That time he had plenty of time. He did a nice job of sitting in the pocket, not bailing out early. Still have their 3 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout. You get an onside kick, things get interesting.
Offense out there once again. We're going to go for Dos. Brought to you by Dos Equis. They converted on the jet sweep. And after the penalty, set them up at the 1.5-yard line last time. Empty backfield. Castellanos escapes and now flips it back in the end zone. Caught. Conversion made to LaWayne McCoy. And this is a 9-point game with 3:22 to go. What a drive. Let's make sure this was a completed catch.
Feet are in bounds. Feet are still in bounds. Yeah.
Does he have control? He does.
Sure does, yeah. Great job. Let's go back. Yeah, go back to the touchdown. There's the protection. Good job of being patient. Eventually he finds his tight end, Pittman Jr. for the touchdown. Progressive pylon cam. Good view of it there. These Noles, regardless how this game finishes, this Noles team continues to battle. That's what he took after that throw. Messidor there holding on to his legs. He took a big, what a drive.
Yeah, that we talked about how much he was giving and what it was taking out of him in that possession. Then very slow to get up. He took a big shot from Messidor. Again, you got a couple of kickers in the game for Florida State. The last time they laid the ball on the ground without a tee and kind of squibbed it along. And it was an easy recovery for the hands team. Again, 2 kickers out there.
At least got to get it 10 yards, no matter who kicks it. The last time it didn't go 10 yards.
And this one is spinning sideways. It was touched by Miami, so that makes it a live ball. It's still a scrum. And the Canes, it's like they did come up with it. Well, that was funky, the way that ball was booted, spinning along the ground. And as soon as a Miami player touches it, even though it hadn't gone 10 yards, it becomes trouble.
Yeah, right there, that ball's free, and it's anybody's ball at that point.
Saint eventually got it. Yep. Daniels was the one that in that area.
It bounced off his arm, bounces out. But Saint, the linebacker right there, he just kind of reaches down. He's fortunate to get a hold of that. It's exactly what Florida State needed. And with the way their quarterback's playing here in this fourth quarter, that could have gotten interesting. Again, we have all 3 timeouts, 2-minute timeout, so see what Miami does. A conservative route, or are they going to throw it around a little bit?
Hand it to Brown, Marty Brown off the right side. Force forward. We talked about the struggles, late in the season for Cristobal at Miami.
The rest of the year, especially when your quarterback plays the way Castellanos has played tonight.
Couple touchdowns with 2-point conversions, so 16 scored in the fourth by Florida State, but desperate to get the football back. They did spend the first timeout, 2 to go. 2nd and 7. Beck from the pocket across the middle. They don't have to spend a timeout because the incomplete pass. Jerry Wilson came across, broke it up. Marion was the receiver.
That ball's a little bit behind. That's why I said you see if they get aggressive or if they're gonna run it and try to force them to use their timeouts. They run one. This time they throw it, showing the confidence they have in Beck. But that ball was clearly behind the receiver, and a good job of jumping that there by Wilson. Now a big third down.
I was going to say, do you throw it again on 3rd and 7?
I think you got to make them use these timeouts.
Bunch formation to the right, and then they get it to the tight end. Bowman trying to navigate his way. He's knocked down short of the marker. So it's going to be a 4th down from the 30. Blake Nicholson made the tackle. And the Noles spending its 2nd time out here.
Yeah, 4th and 1. Decision time for Mario Cristobal.
Well, a field goal would make it.
Bringing the big boys in.
Yeah, I don't think he's thinking field goal here. They're within the range. But he feels comfortable in this position usually with that offensive line to move the pile. Noles get a stop. Still got hope. They'll need to be far less methodical than they were in the last drive, but they're capable of striking quickly.
Well, you really pride yourself on having one of the best offensive lines in college football. You pride yourselves on your backs with 2nd and 3rd effort. You're going to bring in the heavy jumbo look with about 7 offensive linemen. The Noles know you're going to run it. It's a rivalry game. Put it on the back of that offensive line and your physical backs.
If you're a Florida State fan, you say, Big Darrell Jackson in that front, make a stop here. And a flag before the play. Looks like they have 1st down yardage. We'll check and see if maybe Florida State was in the neutral zone. Hard to see.
May have lined up in the neutral zone. I didn't see a whole lot of movement.
No, I think that's what it was. They were trying to get as close to the football
Offside,
as possible.
Number 55, defense. 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
That's a stinger. I mean, he had the 1st down yardage anyway, but to give it to him with a penalty.
Yeah, he's lined up in the neutral zone. Just trying to get a jump, trying to get any advantage they could, just a couple inches too far.
Penalty's a much bigger problem for Miami tonight than Florida State. But that one may have sealed it because they spent a couple of timeouts in that series. If they come up short, you know that Mike Norvell will talk about what you mentioned, the fight back and not giving in.
Yeah, they got Pitt coming up next, and there's a lot of frustration after losing to Virginia and losing this one, but the fact that this team's still fighting gives you hope of what still could be this year.
Brown hit behind the line. I mean, the bigger picture is to take a second ACC loss, to drop to 0-2 in the conference is difficult. The path to the playoff depends on, I think, for them getting into that ACC championship game. Virginia's already at 3-0. Georgia Tech and Duke were idle today. They're at 2-0, and they don't play either of these two teams. So, obviously, Miami, you would lose the tiebreak. It begins to be very, very tough. There's going to be zero margin for error. You're talking about the schedule ahead. And they may also need some help. The ACC, look, a very balanced and competitive conference. We've seen in recent years that games are close. They come down to just a play here and there.
Yeah. And I think the ACC's got a lot more depth than it's had in the past. I mean, there's been so much improvement with the realignment and bringing different teams in. Georgia Tech with Brent Key and what they're doing this year seem to be a team that's very, very real. So you're right. I mean, you're kind of behind here. Now you're going to be, as the season progresses, that's providing if you keep winning games, you're still going to need some help to kind of get back into the mix.
Florida State has to go to Clemson early December. Also at NC State late season. High formation, 2nd and 12. Brown knocked down. So a couple of middle runs here called by Shannon Dawson. Seeing if Florida State, they will spend their final timeout right there. Well, the team has battled and now trying to get a stop here on 3rd and 12. 2 minutes to go. 2-back look for the Canes. Fletcher off the left side. Fletcher slips as he makes the cut. Knocked down. It's going to be 4th down and about 8 from the 23. It would be a 40-yard field goal if they're thinking about that to make the lead up to 12.
They're probably going to work this play clock all the way down. Not in any hurry, obviously.
And no doubt about that.
See if they're going to call the time. Yeah, he's going to call the timeout with 1 second left.
Shift around, see if they can get the Knowles to jump.
No, play it.
Oh, they do snap it. And Beck lofts it incomplete. It seemed to be that Cristobal was signaling for something else. Deontay McCray came off the edge, so the 4th down pass, appeared to be real leisurely. There wasn't a lot of urgency to get that play off.
No, but if he throws this and he doesn't just lay it up there, look, nobody follows him. I mean, if he catches this, you're off to the races.
Tony.
That's Tony, and it's a foot race. We've already seen what that's going to be. But he just, because of the pressure, he just tried to time it up, float it up in the air, but not able to. That would have been a big play on 4th down. So number 1 comes back out with another chance.
See the last possession. They have to strike very quickly, of course. No timeouts. 2 scores needed. Castellano zips it short. That's very short gain to Pittman. In fact, it's no gain.
Many still tuned in to see what could happen here with this Florida State drive.
Yes, they are.
Never know. You know what I'm saying?
Castellano steps up and again tries to escape, slides down after a short gain. Crowd wanted a flag for the hit, but
it came in.
Blunt did he hit him on the slide? It was some contact. There's Jerry Magallanes. I'm not sure if they're going to mark this off. It looks like they are now finally moving the football.
After the quarterback slid, personal foul, late hit, number 18, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Florida State will decline the 10-second runoff. The game clock will start on the snaps.
Usually when you see that, it's the defender that's coming towards the quarterback that hits him. They call that on the defender chasing from behind.
There wasn't much.
Wasn't.
Slight contact, but a mental mistake nonetheless. Castellanos chase, flips it near side. Sawchuk makes the grab and is bumped out at the 45. Now into the final minute.
I don't know who's going to need the ice bath more tonight or tomorrow. The Castellanos or the guys chasing him around?
Everybody. From the pocket, soft cushion, and catch is made by Sawchuk, who's knocked down. It's another first down. Clock will stop momentarily in Miami territory. Castellanos looping, buying time, retreating, and now slings it to the bench. He's inside the tackle box there. Wasn't a receiver in the area as Blunt, who just got flagged, was chasing him down.
Tell you what.
I don't see a conversation about grounding.
Nope. Chris, we're getting so much about Bain and Messidor. The future of Lightfoot 12 and Blunt 18. Those guys, wait till their turn comes up. They have 4 guys that can chase the quarterback down, but of course they've had their hands full tonight.
Trying to chase him down one more time. Castellanos steps up, delivers, and that's Deuce Robinson waiting for it. He's still running. Deuce Robinson bouncing off people, finally run out of bounds at the 18 by Fitzgerald, but we're down to just 25 seconds.
The Saint, I thought, had a chance to come up with maybe an interception. He touches, had his left hand on it. Great concentration to finish on the play by Deuce Robinson, not just to catch, but then fighting for yards and getting out of bounds. Great play by the big man.
What they're going to do here, just to try to get points on the board, is send out the field goal team. So, Mac Cimento to make this 28-22, or Jake Weinberg, excuse me, the kicker, 28-22. Made it earlier from 35, and this one is knocked through.
I thought we would have seen that at the 5-10 mark. When they got down around the 25, I really thought they would have just kind of aborted the drive.
Will be disappointed about the way his team has played the fourth quarter. They've aided Florida State with some penalties, 13 penalties on Miami for 114. That'll be talked about a lot as they have a bye week and then get ready for that visit from Louisville. Here we go again. 2 kickers, no T. His third time a charm. It's spinning, and it's recovered. And once again, Wesley Bissaint, who's been active tonight, doing all kinds of things, got up there well short of 10 yards. So you better get it clean if you're going to do that. I'm not sure would have even made it 10 yards.
No,
if they just let it spin.
No, it's just that
maybe eventually.
It's that spin. Just kind of, they're hoping it's tough to handle. It bounces off of one of the Miami players, but Bissaint secures it, and Miami secures victory.
This will be important. This is the first time Cristobal will have gone on the road and beaten a ranked team as Miami's head coach. By the way, he was 1-6 against top 25 teams at Miami before this year. It's going to be a third road win. Players jawing down there. Canes in victory formation. And they'll walk out of here with what ended up being a surprisingly hard-fought win. It looked like it was a beatdown after 3 quarters, as you said, 28-3. Beck went down awkwardly, by the way, as he took a knee there. Miami comes to Tallahassee, builds a huge lead, and then has to hang on. But they do get to 5-0. And 3 straight wins against ranked opponents.